Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. It is 9 o'clock on the dot here. Time for the First Alert Weather Show at 9 here on Monday night, July the 7th. I'm glad you're here and got through the 4th of July weekend there. We didn't have any rain really to speak of until today. We had some scattered showers. Some of you had some rain, I know, on Saturday night and again on Sunday. But it was very widely scattered. Looks like more of the same is on the way as we head into this week. And by the way, I am watching your comments and questions over here on the 14 News Facebook page. So if you have any, let me know. It looks like Jeff Miller had 1/4 inch of rain out in Savaw today. I think we had about that here at the station with those storms that blew up around noon. So looking ahead, we have more spotty storms on the way. There's a daily chance for rain really all the way into next weekend. And seasonably hot and humid, meaning highs generally around 90 and lows around 70. And we do have some rain showing up right now over the southern edge of the tri-state here. Let me get it zoomed down there so we can see. A lot of our friends there in Muhlenberg, Hopkins, and southern McLean County getting some rain right now. Let's see if we have any lightning. These storms actually were over around the lakes, so back here near Paducah earlier this evening, and then they've been moving across, but it looks like they have lost a lot of their mojo there as they've headed east, and they are putting down, though, some widespread rain, and we will probably see some fog in that same area then tomorrow morning. We also have thunderstorms now moving off into Butler County down here toward Leetown and Sugar Grove. Oh, excuse me, and Morgantown, too. So that's where we have the rain at the moment, and we go back out here to our home view, and generally dry over southwest Indiana at this time. So that's the situation. Now, going into the overnight hours and tomorrow, we do have a chance. A couple storms could be strong. I think that chance is probably already passed us by for today. The Storm Prediction Center then has us colored in with a marginal risk tomorrow, same as today, where a couple of those storms could produce some damaging wind gusts. The odds of that are very low. The bigger concern will be heavy rainfall, lightning, and potentially some flash flooding with the atmosphere being so heavy with water, so saturated out there. Wednesday, more thunderstorms as well. Temperatures, as I told you right off the bat, not much excitement here, right around 90 all the way down the line, and a daily chance for thunderstorms. Nighttime lows will drop into the lower 70s. We are watching the heat index, as we always do, and there may be brief periods where it gets into the triple digits. Thing is, with the scattered showers and unsettledness of the atmosphere, we will have pop-up showers and storms around, so we're not looking at a prolonged situation at these levels like we had a couple weeks ago during the heat wave. The rain and the clouds will kind of mitigate that threat a little bit. Looking ahead here, by noon tomorrow, maybe some clouds across the region, a few scattered storms popping up again during the afternoon, and then on Wednesday, same thing. And just full disclosure, all models that depict convection, we call them CAMs or convection allowing models, they don't do great with placement and timing on storms in this environment. Pop-up thunderstorms, really, really tough to know exactly when and how they will pop up, because we don't have a cold front, we don't have a warm front, unless we have some kind of boundary out there, like an outflow boundary from today's storms or something to focus on. It's real hard to say exactly where they'll pop up. So kind of my stock answer here is just be prepared for rain, but know that it may not rain at your location tomorrow. Not very helpful, is it? But you know what I mean. It could pop up, but more than likely it won't. These are going to be widely scattered showers. Our total rainfall all the way through early next week, probably around 1/2 inch on average. There will be places that get that much in 20 minutes and others that get no rain at all. So the overall impact from the rain should be pretty minimal. Temps now are in the lower 80s. When it's humid like this, the air doesn't cool down as quickly even after the sun sets. And so we will stay around 80 degrees here through 10 o'clock and then pull back into the lower 70s. Our feels like temps a couple degrees warmer than the actual temp. Now that high today will be amended to say 87 in the overnight climate update. We did manage to put on a couple extra degrees after 4:30, which is unusual, but the skies cleared out. And this morning then we were down to 74 for the low, and this is the first break then in our 90-degree string of days there, which was 6 strong. I haven't heard too many complaints. At Evansville Regional Airport, 2/100 of an inch of rain, as I mentioned there, Jeff Miller and Saval, a couple tenths, so we had about the same here at the station, around 1/4 of an inch of rain, give or take. So for the month, we're still a little behind on rainfall, not too concerned about that. We've had frequent enough rain and scattered enough rain. Most of you probably are not having dry ground or plant issues. You still have to water some stuff, but it's not as acute as when we have a dry or drought type situation, which we don't. Tomorrow, temperatures into the upper 80s. Big cluster of warnings out here this evening in the plains. This is a weak cold front coming across, and of course this is more of the prime season for severe weather north, because at this time of the year the jet stream has retreated to the north, and that tends to be where we have more dynamics in the atmosphere, more ingredients to produce severe weather. For our half of the country here, our third of it, basically from the Mississippi River east, it's unsettled for a couple of reasons. First off, we have a stationary front that's kind of stalled out. Secondly, we have the remnants of tropical system Chantal now moving up here off the Jersey Shore, and that will continue to produce some showers and storms and even some severe weather too. The stationary front I mentioned before, those are real common this time of year because we don't have the jet stream working to flush stuff through, and so these fronts will start out and they kind of move and then they fizzle out, and we have a boundary left over. And as I told you, boundaries are a good focal point for showers and thunderstorms, especially as stationary. They just kind of languish. And the risk here is that storms tend to move along or parallel to the boundary, and therefore we can often get repeating or training storms, and that threat for flooding becomes greater this time of the year for that reason. On the Euro model, looking ahead, of course we have a thunderstorm chance or rain chance Thursday, and again Friday, Saturday, you get it, Sunday, Monday, and probably into next week, as there isn't really any clear signal that the going pattern that we have now is going to change significantly. 71 tonight and partly cloudy, highs tomorrow up to 90 degrees with some scattered thunderstorms. The 7-day outlook, pretty unsettled. Scattered storms possible each day. Not all of you will see rain though every day. Some of you won't see any the whole length of the week. And some of you will see it a couple, 3 times. Longer range temperatures will stay above normal there through the middle of the month, and a little bit wetter than normal too. So that's what I have for you. Well, where's our, well, that's odd. There should be a picture in there of Trixie. Who took the picture? Let me look here. I thought we were going so well too, and now we got a little issue. We'll get it ironed out here. All right, well, I know I had it in there before. Oh, I think I know what happened. I did not transfer it over to this machine. We'll try to get Trixie in there for you, Cheyenne. I'm going to feel bad if we can't do that. Okay, well, it may not be in the cards for us here this evening. Oh, there it is right there. But it hasn't transferred over. Always something in there. Well, if you can picture it, I think Trixie kind of looked like a, oh, I see what happened. My computer logged out. That wasn't very nice of it, was it? All right, as standby here, we'll get something going here in just a second. Oh, jeez. Well, now this is going to go dark back here, and I have to do that. This is all to get Trixie up here, gang. So, so bear with me. I'm going to look at your questions too, and I should mention that we will likely have a calm night out there. I'm not expecting any thunderstorms across the tri-state overnight, so sleep tight out there. And our login process is a little cumbersome here, but we'll get in and we'll get Trixie on the air for you here in no time whatsoever. I know you all like to see me struggle anyway, so okay, here we go. Got to put my 3 passwords in and a pint of blood, and then the system will be ready to go. Okay, and my 3rd password, I'm serious. I mean, it's like we got the nuclear codes in here. We have a very thorough security system here, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining. I'm not a complainer. I'm just commenting that when you're trying to get a picture of Trixie up here for your, streaming audience, it does take a little bit of time to accomplish that. So we'll get things going here. While I'm pattering around here, let's have a look. Oh, you're all giving me thumbs up. Okay, well, you're a patient, kind audience, plus you're used to my tomfoolery here. Nothing ever goes completely as planned here on. It's probably why you're watching the stream show, right? See what happens. Well, here's some rainfall totals. William Raleigh out by Bossy Field had 1,500ths. Laura Gray says it rained, I believe in Dawson Springs, right, around 7 o'clock. Janet Stapleton says good evening. Zach, is widespread severe weather expected tomorrow? No, it's not. Let's see. Paula Shea, oh, you guys are blessing me for the sneeze. Yeah, that was the problem. Had I not sneezed, all this stuff would probably be working like it's supposed to. Oh, that's just how it goes sometimes. All right, let's see now if I am back. I am, and we're going to get this thing going. We're going to get Trixie the dog here for our pet pick, and it's going to be glorious. It's going to be worth all this wait. A great dog here. And for Cheyenne Hammonds, I know you're gathered around the computer here waiting for this to come on, and we're getting there slowly but surely. Okay, so hopefully this will work, and all will be good with the world. And while we're waiting here, I see it, it's loading now, and we'll come back over to your questions. Let's see, during severe weather event, do I check our sister stations? Absolutely. We are. Hey, look at that. We got our, okay, we'll talk about that in a second. The question was, do we use our sister stations in our severe weather coverage? And the answer is absolutely. Gray, the company that owns Channel 14 or WFIE 14 News, they actually own adjacent markets pretty much across this part of the country. So we have Jonesboro, Cape Girardeau, then we have Evansville, Bowling Green, Louisville, Cincinnati. There's one in there I'm forgetting. Well, but anyway, going up the river, Cincinnati, Lexington, Hazard, Kentucky, and on, Nashville. So yes, we do use each other's resources and severe weather information to tell the weather story. Pet pick, this just happened, didn't it? Just as if by magic. This is Trixie. I think Trixie looks a little like a bloodhound, but I'm not good at dog identification either, so you can fill me in on what Trixie is. I was just looking at the wrinkly forehead there. That was probably stupid of me. But anyway, a good dog, a good pet picture, and Trixie looks a little over the heat and humidity. Now keep those pet pics coming. We will hopefully get a smooth launch of them tomorrow night. William Raleigh says the gnomes are back. They are. I shooed them out of here last week. I'm wearing garlic around my neck. I don't know what the problem is. Oh, Trixie is a Beagle Basset Wiener mix whenever she pops up. Well, there you go. Okay, so a Beagle Basset Wiener mix. All right. I didn't know that was possible. So there we are. Let's see, will it get a little more active later in the week, says Weather with Sim. Here in the tri-state, maybe. Part of the issue, as I mentioned during the forecast, you kind of just have a flat system, right? There's nothing really energetic or dynamic pushing in. Now, having said that, we have plenty of moisture in the atmosphere and instability. There's virtually no shear and very little to rock the boat, right? You need a cold front or some kind of lifting mechanism. And about the only thing we can rely on is the heating of the afternoon, which, if we have a stalled out front or an old outflow boundary, something like that, that can be the focus where the storms go up. But then what? You know, they don't have much to keep moving, and I told you not much shear aloft, so then they basically just poop out after about 30 or 40 minutes. So yeah, I'm not thinking widespread severe this week. I did want to mention for Science Corner tonight that we're up to our C storm name there, Chantal. Dexter will be the next named storm if we get one. Looking at the tropics right now, and again, the tropics extend from Africa, not Alaska, Africa, all the way over here to the Caribbean, and then up the Gulf Coast down here in the Atlantic coast along the east of the U.S. And typically, the classic way that hurricanes and tropical storms develop is they begin as storms here in Alaska. Why am I saying that again? In Africa, and I've got Alaska on the brain. Somebody asked me a question about Alaska, and I will answer that here in a minute. But anyway, Africa, home of the Sahara Desert, is usually the breeding ground for these storms that then become hurricanes or tropical storms as they move to the west on the prevailing winds just north of the intertropical convergence zone, which is just north of the equator. However, as we know, sometimes the storms can form pretty much right on top of us, and Chantal was what I would call a homegrown tropical system. We had some disturbed weather here in Florida into the weekend, into the 4th of July weekend, and then Chantal developed out here, right there. This is actually a 48-hour loop, so off the coast there of Charleston, and then quickly moved inland. There were a couple of tornadoes and some flooding there around Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. Not to the extent, by the way, of the catastrophe in Texas, which is just other level awful in so many ways. And our thoughts and prayers certainly need to be with all those families, those kids that were at the camp out in Texas. But the situation here on the East Coast, much less dire, and that system is moving out. We have to pay attention to tropical systems here in the tri-state. Not so much because we would get a hurricane here, but we can get impactful weather as a result of tropical systems. And we are actually coming up on the 1-year anniversary of one of those days, and that was when Tropical System Beryl, the remnants moved up into the Ohio, Mississippi valleys, and we had enough twist or spin in the atmosphere along a dying warm front that it produced tornadoes. In fact, a record number of tornadoes in July. We typically don't have tornadoes in July, they're very rare. In fact, if you look back since 1950, there have only been 12 tornadoes. Now this was up until last year. Now that number would be 19 because last year, because of the spin, because of what was left of that tropical system, we had 7 tornadoes. And these weren't just little spin-ups either. We had a major EF3 tornado that hit in Mount Vernon, in addition to some EF1s there in Union and Gibson counties. And so an EF3 was the strongest tornado ever recorded in July here in the tri-state. And it tracked about 5-6 miles here through Mount Vernon. Remember, it did great damage to that warehouse down there. Fortunately, we did not have any fatalities or injuries, but it could have been much, much worse as that system moved north. So just a cautionary tale that once we get into the summer, typically we don't expect severe weather, but it certainly is possible if things come together. Okay, so with that being said, let's go back here to your questions. Adam Lewig says, my sneeze blew the flowers off the front porch. Well, I have a powerful sneeze. Oh, we got the backstory here on Trixie. Remember the dog there a minute ago, the Beagle Basset Wiener mix. Cheyenne Hammond's husband rescued her from an abandoned home 12 years ago with no clue how her breeds work, but she's a great girl. Well, that's a great story, and thanks for rescuing her. Yeah. That's why we're here. Try to raise everybody up. Some good news, right? Something to smile about. All right. So Trixie might get a redo tomorrow night, what we call in broadcasting a make good. When your commercial screws up the first time, we do a make good. So maybe we're entitled to a make good, where I seamlessly go into it and have all the right things to say. Wouldn't that be a dream come true? All right, we have more heat and humidity on the way. I will talk about that again on 14 News at 10, and I will see you back here tomorrow night on the stream show at 9 o'clock. I really appreciate you coming out to watch, and please stay safe. You all have a good night.